Hello, Master Manifester. Today we're talking about mindful visualization and getting better at visualizing your intentions. The first thing is engaging the senses. The brain can't really tell the difference between a deep imagination fantasy and reality. That's why movies are so effective and they get us so emotional and we feel like we're there. It's the brain simulating the actual event and kind of logging it as though it really happened. Sometimes people can easily forget that they weren't in the movie. So it's really funny how the brain works that way. And the more you can engage your senses, like what you might see, what you might hear, what you might smell, or what kind of emotions that you might have when you have that manifestation, whatever it is. Like, so you want to go on a trip somewhere. Try to simulate the sounds and smells that you might see wherever that place is. Like, say, if you're going to a market in India, uh, imagine the smell of the incense. And then you can also, actually get some incenses or even like scratch and sniff stickers to simulate these smells. And you want to get as many senses involved as you can. But sometimes it helps to like zero in on one if you get kind of resistance and you're like, I can't imagine what the sounds would be. Pull it up on YouTube. What does it sound like? Watch somebody walk through the place, right? Always simulate with reality as much as you can and add in detail of what the place is actually like or what the situation is actually like as much as you can, because it gives your brain a chance to simulate the emotions, that emotional charge of that feeling, and to start building stories of yourself in that scene. And this is the big thing, the story narration, like the memories of the things that you haven't done yet, right? The memories of the future. These are the ways to get to that manifestation really fast because everything has to come through your attention, your awareness, and it needs time to build into the story that you're already in. So I try to think of it as sort of like a TV series, right? Or like my life is a series of TV shows. It could be all different kind of shows, right? But then I have seasons and I have episodes, and this is really how the brain works too. It compartmentalizes this data and creates a concept. That's not the actual thing itself. A memory is just the recording of the chemical signature of how you reacted to the external stimuli. And then you just make interpretations off of it. You made an interpretation when the memory happened, and you make new interpretations about the memory of the memory. So it's really just the chemical signature of what happened in your brain and what changed that you're accessing the memory. And time is a funny thing. Our brains make everything seem really linear here in this 3D, in these really dense physical bodies. Everything looks linear. But in physics, time is actually more like a ball of twine, everything folding in and on and up, through itself. So our imaginings of the future are like probability waves, right? We're like moving towards this in the story through our series, through our chapters. We get foreshadowing, right? I always see foreshadowing before like big things come through. I'm like, oh yeah, I bet it's gonna be soon. And then I try not to get too excited because you do want to be in a sort of like, ho hum, this is just something I have. Not that it matters. Once you set an intention, eventually it's gonna come through in your story. But running safety simulations in your brain, and this is the third thing. So you've got engaging your senses, you got narrating the story, understanding the story, and then running the safety simulations. Because when you change something in your identity, when you change something in your story that is not consistent with what your story has been before, your nervous system freaks out. Unless you're running safety simulations to show how having this thing is perfectly fine. You're safe, you can move through into it, it'll become a natural part of your story because your brain wants to save energy and keep things cohesive in your mind. It wants to keep your identity processing system, your predictive processing. It wants to keep it in line, right? So I hope this has given you a little insight on doing mindful visualization, which is really just being really focused in on your senses, like engaging as many senses as you can and really making it feel safe to have that manifestation and going in deep and just practicing with your new reality to signal to your brain and nervous system. It is safe to notice these things. It is safe to reveal this into my reality and into my story. And it makes sense. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and sign up for the Method News newsletter in the description below.